The Bible, a book of hope, love, and faith, but also a book filled with verses that make people pause and ask, wait, did it really say that? Today we're diving deep into 15 of the most controversial Bible verses, verses that spark debates, raise questions, and sometimes make us wrestle with the very heart of faith. We'll explore the context, the meaning, and why these verses are still discussed thousands of years later. Stay with me. Some of these may challenge what you've always believed. Verse 1, Genesis 6 verse 4, the Nephilim and the giants. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans. Who were the Nephilim? Were they fallen angels? Giant warriors? Hybrids? This mysterious verse has puzzled scholars for centuries. Some believe it speaks of supernatural beings mingling with humans. Others see it as symbolic language about powerful rulers. What we know for sure is this. Before the flood, something dark and violent was spreading across the earth. Verse 2, Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15. The fall of Lucifer. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. I just posted about this, the famous fall of Lucifer. But here's the twist. This passage originally referred to the fall of the Babylonian king, not Satan. Over time, Christian tradition connected it to the devil's rebellion, turning it into a symbol of pride and downfall. It's a layered verse, blending history and spiritual meaning. Verse 3, Exodus 21 verses 20 to 21, rules on slavery. If a man beats his male or female slave with a rod and the slave dies, he must be punished. This verse is painful to read today. Why didn't the Bible outright condemn slavery? In the ancient world, slavery was everywhere. The Old Testament law set limits on abuse, but it didn't abolish the system. For many, this verse reminds us of how God's ultimate justice unfolds over time, moving human hearts toward freedom and dignity. Verse 4, Leviticus 18 verse 22, homosexuality. Do not have sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman. That is detestable. This is one of the most debated verses today. Some read it as part of the ancient ritual purity codes meant for Israel. Others see it as a universal moral law. The key takeaway, interpretations vary widely, and how churches handle this verse often shapes their teaching on sexuality and inclusion. Verse 5, 1 Samuel 15 verse 3, God's command to destroy Amalek. Now go, attack the Amalekites. Do not spare them. Put to death men, women, children, infants. Why would God command such violence? This passage is one of the hardest in Scripture. Some scholars say it reflects the brutal reality of ancient warfare. Others see it as divine judgment against a people known for extreme evil. But it remains a verse that demands careful thought and humility. Verse 6, Psalm 137 verse 9, dashing babies against rocks. Blessed is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. Shocking, right? But context matters. This is not a command from God. It's a raw, emotional cry from exiles in Babylon, grieving and angry over their suffering. It's a human lament, not divine approval. Verse 7, Matthew 10 verse 34. Not peace, but a sword. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. Wait, didn't Jesus come as the Prince of Peace? Yes, but here, he's warning that following him will cause division, even within families. It's not about violence, but about the hard truth. Discipleship comes with a cost. Verse 8, Matthew 15 verse 26, Jesus and the Canaanite woman. It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. Did Jesus just call this woman a dog? On the surface, yes. But the story's heart is in her response. She boldly persists, and Jesus praises her faith and heals her daughter. This encounter shows the widening of his mission beyond Israel, opening the door to the nations. Vers 9, Romans 9:13, Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. Did God hate Esau? This verse points to God's sovereign choice in history, not personal hatred. It reflects God's selection of Jacob's line to carry the covenant, a choice that shaped salvation history. Verse 10, 1 Corinthians 14 verses 34 to 35. Women silent in churches. Women should remain silent in the churches. One of the most debated verses on gender. Some say Paul was addressing a local issue, perhaps noisy interruptions, not issuing a universal ban. Others apply it strictly today. The broader context shows that Paul valued women's contributions in many places. Verse 11, 1 Timothy 2 verse 12. Women forbidden to teach. I do not permit a woman to teach or assume authority over a man. Here again, interpretation matters. Was Paul addressing a cultural issue in Ephesus? Or was he setting a timeless rule? Churches today wrestle deeply with this, leading to different practices. Verse 12, Revelation 20 verse 10, eternal torment. They will be tormented day and night, forever and ever. Is hell eternal? This verse describes the final judgment. Some Christians read it literally as eternal conscious torment. Others see it as symbolic or believe in annihilationism, that the wicked are destroyed. Either way, it's a sobering reminder of accountability. Verse 13, Deuteronomy 22 verses 28 to 29, marrying your rapist. If a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, he shall give the father 50 shekels, and she shall be his wife. Explanation: this verse is often misunderstood. It describes an ancient legal system aimed at providing security to the woman, since her future marriage prospects were damaged. But many today see it as deeply unjust. It's critical to understand the cultural and historical context here. Verse 14, Judges 19, the Levite's concubine. This shocking story tells of a woman who is abused, murdered, and cut into pieces. Explanation: one of the darkest passages in Scripture, it serves as a grim warning about Israel's moral collapse during the time of the Judges. It's descriptive, not prescriptive, showing how far God's people had fallen without righteous leadership. Verse 15, 2 Kings 2 verses 23 to 24, Elisha and the youths. Some boys came out of the town and jeered at Elisha. He turned around, cursed them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. Explanation: why would God allow bears to attack children? Scholars note that this passage may involve older youths, not little kids, disrespecting God's prophet in a deeply offensive way. Still, it's a hard text that reminds us of the seriousness of mocking sacred things. The Bible is not a book we can tame. It invites us to wrestle, to question, to seek God in the hard places. If you want to dive deeper into any of these topics, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this episode of Timeless Biblical Stories. If this video opened your eyes or gave you something to reflect on, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend or family member who loves diving deep into Scripture. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful biblical insights, stories, and teachings that go beyond the surface. And let me know in the comments, which of these verses surprised you the most? Or is there another controversial verse you want us to cover in a future video? Remember, the Bible isn't just ancient text. It's a living word for today. Stay curious, stay faithful, and keep exploring with us here on Timeless Biblical Stories. God bless you.